Playing with Power MTG. Powerful cards, powerful formats. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to talk about our sponsor, Into the AM. Into the AM creates premium high-quality apparel that focuses on self-expression and unparalleled comfort. I have tried these shirts myself and they are super comfortable. They have cool shirt designs and they really stand out over so many of my other tees. I really like the way they fit on my body and how soft they feel when I wear them. Into the AM's team of skilled artisans craft each garment from the highest quality fabrics and eco-friendly inks. They support their products with a 30-day money-back guarantee, hassle-free returns, and lightning-fast shipping. They also strive to give back, raising money for scholarships, charities, and support in impactful ways to our communities. Right now, they are running a bundle deal for their graphic tees at 3 for $60, so check out my link in the description below and you'll get an additional 10% off as well. A big thanks for Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. Playing with Power members Drake and Alex are back with another Mox Pearl gameplay session. They pair off with some of their favorite decks and we will see how they do tonight. We love playing with Mox Pearls and we would love to play with you too. If spots are available, sign up to our Mox Pearl tier and record a game with us. Now, let's start out by showcasing our fighters this evening. First, we have Drake piloting the partner pair of Tymna the Weaver and Chrom Ludovic's Opus. This deck, called Blue Farm, looks to win with Underworld Breach combos or Thassa's Oracle. Drake's opening hand contains a Talisman of Progress, Talisman of Creativity, Dark Ritual, Mystic Remora, Volcanic Island, Windswept Heath, and a Polluted Delta. Next, we have Alex piloting Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. This deck, called Mid-Power Kinnan, seeks to cast its commander and cheat big creatures onto the battlefield. Alex's opening hand contains a Manglehorn, Prismatic Vista, Carpet of Flowers, Mana Crypt, Scalding Tarn, Llanowar Elves, and his London Mulligan is a counterbalance. After that, we have Dante piloting the partner pair of Kodama of the East Tree and Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. This deck seeks to create 2 Kodamas and create a combo through the use of 2 Kodama triggers. Dante's opening hand contains a Finehorn Elves, Boseiju Who Endures, Ancient Tomb, Elvish Spirit Guide, Breeding Pool, and his London Mulligans are Return the Earth and a Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. Finally, we have Jordan piloting Raga Draga Gorguts Boss. This deck seeks to disrupt opponents' mana production and win via combat. Jordan's opening hand contains a Forest, Circle of Dreams Druid, Birds of Paradise, Thorn Mammoth, Kamal Heart of Croja, Llanowar Elves, and a Crop Rotation. Without further ado, let's begin this enraging ear-splitting imminent earthquake. Drake wins the Fireball Challenge and gets to start us off. Drake draws a card for turn and plays a Windswept Heath. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Scrubland onto the battlefield. He casts a Dark Ritual, adding 3 black. He casts a Talisman of Creativity. He casts a Talisman of Progress. He taps his Talisman to help cast Mystic Remora. The table sighs, and Drake passes the turn. Alex draws and plays a Verdant Catacombs. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Tropical Island onto the battlefield. He casts a Llanowar Elves. He casts Mana Crypt. Remora triggers and Drake draws. Alex passes. Dante draws and plays a Breeding Pool into play untapped, paying 2 life. He casts Finehorn Elves and ends his turn. Jordan draws and plays a Forest. He casts a Birds of Paradise. He passes. During his upkeep, Drake pays for his Remora. He draws and plays a Volcanic Island. He casts a Mana Vault. He taps his Talisman to help cast his commander, Chrom Ludovic's Opus. He attacks Jordan with Chrom. Jordan takes it, and Drake ships the turn to Alex. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws and plays a Snow-Covered Island. He casts his commander, Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. He casts Manglehorn. Chrom triggers and Drake draws. It enters and destroys Drake's Talisman of Creativity. Alex casts Carpet of Flowers. Remora triggers and Drake draws. Alex ends his turn. Dante draws and plays an Ancient Tomb. He passes. Jordan draws and plays a Strip Mine. He casts a Llanowar Elves. He ends his turn. During his upkeep, Drake pays for his Remora. During his draw step, he takes a damage from his Mana Vault. In his main phase, he casts Ponder. He looks at the top 3, rearranges, and shuffles. He plays a Polluted Delta and passes the turn. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws, and in his first main phase, Alex adds a green through his Carpet. He plays a Scalding Tarn. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Breeding Pool into play untapped, paying 2 life. He activates Kinnan. He looks at the top 5 and puts Thassa's Oracle onto the battlefield. The table shoots to attention, but Alex assures him this isn't actually for winning the game. Well, at least in not this instance. Oracle's trigger resolves, and Alex looks at the top 3, putting 1 on top and the rest on bottom. He moves to combat and attacks Dante with Kinnan and Manglehorn. Dante takes it, and Alex passes the turn. Dante draws and plays a Boseiju Who Endures. He exiles Elvish Spirit Guide from his hand and adds a green. He taps his Ancient Tomb to help cast his commander, Kodama of the East Tree. Dante ends his turn. Jordan draws and casts Crop Rotation, sacrificing Strip Mine. Remora triggers and Drake draws. He fetches up a Gaia's Cradle onto the battlefield. He casts Fauna Shaman. Chrom triggers and Drake draws. Jordan casts Circle of Dreams Druid. Jordan passes. During his upkeep, Drake lets his Remora die. During his draw step, he takes a damage from his mana vault. He plays an Ancient Tomb for turn. He exiles Simian Spirit Guide from his hand, adding a red. He taps his Talisman to help cast Ranger Captain of Eos. It enters, and Drake fetches up a Serra Ascendant into his hand. All through, Drake passes. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws and plays a Prismatic Vista. He moves to a second main phase and adds a green through his carpet. He activates Kinnan, looks at the top 5, and puts Hullbreaker Horror onto the battlefield. Alex cracks his Prismatic Vista, pays a life, and fetches up a snow-covered forest onto the battlefield. He casts Sensei's Divining Top. Horror triggers, and he bounces Mana Crypt back to his hand. He recasts Mana Crypt. Crom triggers, and Drake draws. Hullbreaker Horror triggers and bounces Dante's Kodama. Alex activates Sensei's Divining Top, looking at and rearranging the top 3. He activates Top, drawing a card and putting Top on top. He casts Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing Manglehorn. Hullbreaker triggers, and Alex bounces Fauna Shaman to Jordan's hand. In response, Drake cracks his Polluted Delta, pays a life, and fetches up an Underground Sea onto the battlefield. Drake then flashes in an Opposition Agent. Agent resolves, the Eldritch resolves, and Drake fetches up a Gilded Drake from Alex's library into exile. With nothing else, and in a super strong position, Alex passes. Dante draws and taps his Ancient Tomb to help cast Psychic Pickpocket. It enters, connives, and Drake discards Unsubstantiate, giving it a 1/1 counter. Then Dante bounces Alex's Hullbreaker Horror to his hand through Pickpocket. The table breathes a sigh of relief, and Dante ends his turn. Jordan draws and plays a Karplusian Forest. He recasts Fauna Shaman. He taps his Karplusian Forest to help cast his commander, Ragadraga, Gorgut's boss. Crom triggers, and Drake draws. Jordan moves to combat and attacks Alex with his Birds of Paradise, which now gets +2/+2 through Ragadraga. Ragadraga triggers, and Jordan untaps his birds. Alex takes it, and Jordan passes the turn. During his draw step, Drake takes a damage through his Mana Vault. He plays a Tundra for turn. He taps his Ancient Tomb to help cast Sol Ring. He casts his other commander, Tymna the Weaver. He moves to combat and attacks Dante with Opposition Agent, Alex with Ranger Captain of Eos, and Jordan with Crom. Alex blocks with his Thassa's Oracle, and then everyone takes the rest. In his second main phase, Drake pays 2 and draws 2 through Tymna. All finished up, Drake passes, discarding to hand size. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws, and in his first main phase, he has 3 blue through his carpet. He activates Kinnan. He looks at the top 5 and puts Void Winnower onto the battlefield. Everyone collectively groans, and Alex ends his turn. Dante draws and plays a Rejuvenating Springs. He casts Brainstorm, drawing 3 and putting 2 back on top. He casts Ponder. Crom triggers, and Drake draws. Dante looks at the top 3, rearranges, and draws. He casts Birds of Paradise. Finished up, and Void Winnower really slowing down the board, Dante passes. Jordan draws and casts Thorn Mammoth. Ragadraga triggers, untaps it, and gives Circle of Dreams Druid +7/+7 and trample until end of turn. Mammoth enters and fights Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy, killing it. Next, Jordan casts Wandering Archaic. Crom triggers, and Drake draws. Archaic enters, Mammoth triggers, and targets Drake's Ranger Captain of Eos. In response, Drake casts Deflecting Swat for its alternate cost, targeting the ability. In response, Alex casts Force of Will, exiling a blue card and paying 1 life, targeting SWAT. Wandering Archaic triggers, and Jordan copies Force of Will, also targeting SWAT. Force counters SWAT, the original Force fizzles, and then Thorn Mammoth fights Ranger Captain, killing it. Next, Jordan casts Regal Force. Ragadraga triggers, targeting Circle of Dreams Druid again. In response, Drake casts Swords to Plowshares, targeting Circle of Dreams Druid. Wandering Archaic triggers, and Drake pays. Swords resolves, exiling Circle of Dreams Druid, and Jordan gains 9 life. Then Regal Force resolves, Thorn Mammoth triggers, and Jordan declines to fight anything. Then Regal Force triggers, and Jordan draws 6 cards. He plays a Forest for turn. He casts Tinderwall. He sacrifices it, adding 2 red. He casts Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort, giving all of his creatures haste. He moves to combat and attacks Alex with Wandering Archaic and Drake with Regal Force, Thorn Mammoth, and Ragadraga. Drake blocks Thorn Mammoth with Tymna, they all take the rest, and Drake gains 2 life. All finished up, and with a commanding board position, Jordan passes the turn. During his draw step, Drake takes the damage from his Mana Vault. He plays a Plateau for turn. He recasts his commander, Tymna the Weaver. He moves to combat, attacking Dante with Opposition Agent and Alex with Crom. Dante blocks with Psychic Pickpocket, and they all take the rest. In his second main phase, Drake pays 1 and draws 1 through Tymna. He casts Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. He passes. At the end of Drake's turn, Dante taps his Ancient Tomb to help cycle Step Through, fetching up a Prime Speaker Zagana into his hand. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws, and in his first main phase, he has 3 blue through his carpet. He recasts his commander, Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. He activates Kinnan, looking at the top 5 and putting Jin-Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, onto the battlefield. Now quickly the threat again, Alex passes. Dante draws, takes no actions, and passes. Jordan draws and casts Turn Timber Symbiosis. Ragadraga triggers, giving Birds of Paradise +7/+7 and trample until the end of turn, untapping it. Jin-Gitaxias triggers and counters Turn Timber. Next, Jordan casts Pyroblast, targeting Jin-Gitaxias. Chrom triggers and Drake draws. Jin-Gitaxias is destroyed and Jordan moves to combat. He attacks Alex with his Birds of Paradise and Drake with Llanowar Elves, Regal Force, Fauna Shaman, Wandering Archaic, and Ragadraga. Ragadraga triggers, Jordan untaps Birds and Llanowar Elves and they get +2/+2. Drake blocks Regal Force with Tymna and Ragadraga with Ragavan. Then they all take the rest, Drake gains 2 life, and Jordan passes the turn. At the end of Jordan's turn, Drake casts Vampiric Tutor. Wandering Archaic triggers and Jordan copies it. Then they resolve and they both fetch up cards into the top of their libraries and each lose 2 life. The turn moves to Drake. During his draw step, Drake takes a damage from his Mana Vault. He taps his Ancient Tomb to help cast Yawgmoth's Will. Wandering Archaic triggers and Drake pays. Yawg-Will resolves and exiles. Drake casts Swords to Plowshares from his graveyard, targeting Void Winnower. Wandering Archaic triggers and Jordan copies it, targeting Kinnan. Kinnan is exiled and Alex gains 2. Then Void Winnower is exiled and Alex gains 11. Drake plays a Polluted Delta from his graveyard. He cracks it, pays a life, and fetches up a Badlands onto the battlefield. He casts Dark Ritual from his graveyard. Archaic triggers and Jordan copies it. They both add 3 black. Drake casts Gilded Drake. It enters and targets Jordan's Wandering Archaic. In response, Jordan casts Heroic Intervention. It resolves, then Gilded Drake is sacrificed because it cannot trade. Next, Drake casts Dockside Extortionist. It enters and Drake creates 2 treasures. He casts Opposition Agent from his graveyard. He casts Ragavan from his graveyard. He casts Serra Ascendant from his graveyard. Finished up, Drake passes. During his upkeep, Alex loses his Mana Crypt roll and takes 3 damage. He draws and plays a Homeward Path. He moves to a second main phase and adds 3 blue from his carpet. He recasts his commander, Kinnan, Bonder Prodigy. He activates Kinnan, looking at the top 5 and failing to find. Finished up, Alex ends his turn. Dante draws and taps his Ancient Tomb to help recast his commander, Kodama of the East Tree. Dante passes. Jordan draws and casts Song of Freyalise, getting its first counter. He casts Kamahl, Heart of Kroja. Chrom triggers and Drake draws. Ragadraga triggers, giving Birds of Paradise +7/+7 and trample until the end of turn, untapping it. He moves to combat and Kamahl triggers, giving his creatures +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. He attacks Drake with Birds of Paradise, Dante with Regal Force, Kamahl, Archaic, Ragadraga, and Llanowar Elves, and Alex with Fauna Shaman. Since Song of Freyalise gives all of Jordan's creatures a mana ability, all of his attacking creatures untap. They all take it, and Drake and Dante die. In his second main phase, Jordan casts an Entwined Tooth and Nail. Ragadraga triggers and pumps his Birds of Paradise. He fetches up a Collector Oof and a Magus of the Moon into his hand and then puts both onto the battlefield. Finished up, Jordan passes to Alex. During his upkeep, Alex wins his Mana Crypt roll. He draws and activates Kinnan. He looks at the top 5 and unfortunately fails to find. Seeing he is dead to attacks on the next turn, Alex concedes and Jordan wins the game. Ladies and gentlemen, what a match. Congrats to Jordan on his win. His deck was the perfect meta buster to typical CEDH decks. Frequently, CEDH gets into a rut saying things like this or that strategy isn't viable without actually testing it out. Jordan fights these norms and proves over and over that CEDH is more than just a list of cards or a database of decks. It is a mindset and a spirit of play. We love to have people like Jordan as members of this wonderful community. We encourage all of you to challenge these norms as well. You never know what you might find. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Tune in next time when we duke it out to see who will be king of the competitive EDH table. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.